I mean, what to say.
Okay, we'll go ahead and bring the city council meeting to order. I'd like to first ask everyone to stand and join in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kevin, can you please do roll call? Jenny Marshall.
Here.
Matt Dyer. Here. Tyler Hohenkamp.
Here.
Scott Murray. Here. Abby Well.
Here.
Okay.
Think about it.
We're going to start with the Board of Works approved the animal control contract with the county, the what is it? Interlocal agreement with the county for animal care and control. It's a 2-year contract. We had a lot of discussion in that first meeting, but the Board of Works has this, and it just needs a council approval to send council president and clerk treasurer needs to sign it yet.
Before we do, I don't think Miranda was here for that discussion. I didn't know if she had any. Miranda with the pause.
I did miss it. I do apologize. Yeah, it was kind of catching me up a little bit on it, and it sounds like you guys are going to renew a 2-year contract.
With the idea of looking at what other options we have and what's the best way going forward, right?
Okay.
I think Craig Koshaw said a lot of good things about what you guys do, so did I.
Thank you.
We appreciate what Paul does for the community, that's for sure.
Thank you. We're still interested in helping when we can.
Yep, and we appreciate that very much. So.
And there's an option to opt out.
Yeah, I mean, we have an option with 30 days notice we can opt out of it at any time, so I think it's something, again, we've done a lot of research with other communities, what they're doing. We need to put together a team to look at it and see what the best option is.
I'd like to say I think it'd be better if someone closer to the subject would come up with a better solution. I mean, you guys are in it, like, I don't know anything about animal control or what, but, I mean, I'm not saying you have to, but, so I've got a better plan. I'd love
I'll tell you what, I've met with you guys how many times now? So they have been willing to meet and talk about what options and what we can do, and they're looking at our ordinance, so they have been involved with it.
And we are working on the ordinances too.
Yeah. Yep. No, thank you guys for all your work. We appreciate it. So, need a motion to approve that contract that was signed by Board of Works.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Oh wait, you know what? Was everyone given a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting held on April 15th?
Make a motion to accept.
No. Second.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And we do have a couple youth council members in here. I know. Okay, there they are. If you guys don't mind, just stand up and introduce yourself and what grade you're in. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Even though, I guess you have to come a couple times, don't you? So, anyway, but no, thank you so much. Okay, so we have some, I think Jamie, you might have to go at some point, right?
What?
You have to go at some point?
Yeah.
So you want to go forward with some of the event applications?
Yep. I'll get started.
How many do you have?
We have 3 event applications. I am only presenting one of them. So the first one that I have is the Memorial Day Parade, and that is Monday, May 26th. The street closures for that is Jackson Street Bridge, and that's between 10 and 10:45, and then Court Street and 3rd Street between Jefferson and Madison Street. And that's about 10:30 to 12ish. The fire department and police are around to help with that.
This is the Legion.
The Legion, yep.
And so they're going from Jackson Street down first.
So I have the full route here. They will go, at 10:15, they'll go from the Legion's parking lot, north onto 1st Street to Monroe Street, east on Monroe Street to the parking lot west of the river. Then they'll turn north and march through the parking lot to Jackson Street, and then they head to the bridge. That takes about 15 minutes. and then they'll head west on Jackson Street to 2nd Street, turn south on 2nd Street and go to Court Street, and then they'll turn right and they'll be at the Peace Monument. And they're there for about 30 minutes.
Same route, right, every
Yeah,
year?
same route.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Okay, and then, do you two want to come up and, yeah?
You didn't get all dressed up for nothing.
I'll be both here and there.
Hello everybody, my name is Carson Canals and I'm the director of the Festival de Españos, or Festival of Hispanics here in Decatur. Last year we had our first annual festival and we're presenting this year to have it again. September 20th we are shooting for the Madison Street Plaza, the 2nd Street, and I think it was the Madison Street as well. We had to shut down last year as well. Hoping to do the same things in terms of street closures, dates, times, things of that nature as well again this year. I mean, I believe most of you actually went, and if not, we're the ones who approved it, so I really don't know what to tell you, because you may not already know or experience firsthand.
Is it your plan to have the lowriders again?
The exact specific ones aren't able to make it this year, but we are hoping to get some again this year, yes.
Okay.
They're going to help us try to find another group. They got booked right away.
Yeah. Yeah. I can say I was there for most of it last year. It was a great event. It really was.
And your first year was very well organized and well attended, so.
And we appreciate what you guys done, helped us support it and get it going. And this year we've got more vendors coming and food trucks already. Even while we were sitting here, we just had a vendor confirmed. So.
Good.
Great. Great. So it's, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie, it's 2nd Street from Monroe to Court,
To Court Street.
and then Madison from 2nd to 3rd.
Right.
Okay. The reason I'm verifying that is everyone knows we have the 5 Points Improvement Project going, so we're trying to keep 1st Street open for most of these events and 3rd if we can, to make sure there's emergency access. So, okay.
I make a motion to approve their event. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, and then, Jenny, you want to,
They're gonna,
Okay.
yeah.
all right. You guys can sit here. Go ahead.
Okay. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. You guys each want to introduce yourself, and then you explain what you're...
Yep. My name is Molly Cochran. I am a board member of Decatur Pride. I am the treasurer.
Hi, I'm Christine Bright, and I'm the secretary of the nonprofit.
I'm Vicki Osborne. I'm the president of the nonprofit. I am Kat Rogers, and I'm just a committee member.
Okay.
And I'm Jenny Bowers Schultz, and I'm the vice president.
Okay. I will start with the introduction. So Pride festivals have become... Nikki Osborne. Okay. Pride festivals have become vibrant and meaningful traditions in cities across the country. For example, Fort Wayne hosts a well-attended Pride event each year. Even smaller communities such as Whiting, Indiana, with a population of just 4,506 in 2023, successfully holds annual Pride Festival. By comparison, Decatur's population was reported at 10,020 in 2023, demonstrating that our city has both the size and the spirit to support an inclusive celebration of this kind.
All right, I'm going to take over and tell you a little bit about us and our group. We're just a group of like-minded citizens. We're all from Adams County ourselves. We came together and we shared, we saw a need to establish an annual celebration and to support the LGBTQ community locally. As both allies and a member of the community, we were compelled to come together because we noticed a lack of visibility here. Members of our community go to Fort Wayne for everything, and we shouldn't have to. We wanted to provide some recognition for queer individuals in our city. And so through doing this, we found the path that made the most sense was to provide to start the nonprofit Decatur Pride. We're incorporated in the state of Indiana, recognized legally that way, and we are working towards our tax status, which of course takes a little more time. So, why a Pride Festival in Decatur? One of the primary goals of hosting Decatur Pride this summer is to demonstrate to the LGBTQ plus community that they are seen, that they're valued, they're supported by their own city, by fostering a sense of belonging and inclusion. This event aims to create a welcoming environment and encourages individuals to remain in Decatur and to take pride in being part of our community. According to a 2024 poll, approximately 9.3% of Americans identify as LGBTQ+. This translates to an estimated 31 million individuals across the United States who are part of this diverse community. Regardless of personal beliefs, it's important to recognize that LGBTQ+ people are a part of our community. They live here, they work here, they contribute to the fabric of our town. They deserve to be welcomed, respected, and embraced as valued members of our society.
And we are here to respectfully request approval for the Host Decatur Pride event at the Madison Street Plaza. We've been working in coordination with Jamie Gaffard. We've taken necessary steps to ensure full compliance with municipal guidelines and expectations in accordance with the terms of our rental agreement, and we will implement all required safety measures to foster a welcoming and secure environment for all participants. That's very important. All required deposits have been submitted, and liability insurance coverage has been secured for this event. Decatur Pride will feature a variety of family-friendly activities. We're going to include crafts, games, face painting. I will be DJing. I'm DJ Cat, by the way. And attendees will actually have the opportunity to enjoy a selection of food and alcoholic beverages as well. So, in conclusion, we believe that Decatur is ready to embrace a celebration that reflects the diversity, unity, and resilience of its residents. Pride is more than a festival. It is a statement that everyone belongs. Through this event, we have an opportunity to affirm the dignity and worth of our LGBTQ+ neighbors, friends, and family members, to foster deeper connection and to position Decatur as a city that leads with compassion and inclusion. We ask for your support in making Decatur Pride a reality. With your approval, we will move forward in hosting a safe, joyful, and impactful event at Madison Street Plaza, one that we hope will become a cherished annual tradition for years to come. Thank you for your time, consideration, and partnership in building a more inclusive Decatur. We would like to open this up if you have any questions for our board members.
When is your event?
June 28th is this Saturday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
And are there street closures?
No.
No street closures. It's all on Madison Street Plaza?
Correct.
Pretty inclusive presentation.
Thank you.
Very well put together, so thanks for presenting
Is there music, like bands or, oh no, DJ Cat, forgot.
If you got any requests, let me know.
All right.
So this did hit the media, or at least social media at some point, because I did have a few people reach out to me with questions. You gave a pretty detailed presentation about what you plan on as far as event-wise. So the event is you DJing most of the evening. Okay.
But he said crafts and face painting.
Yeah, so we'll have a kids' place where they can do crafts. We've talked to a couple vendors that are going to set up gaming stations, like Easy Gaming has said they're going to be a part of our celebration. We have food trucks secured already. We did partner with two brothers. We're going to provide alcohol. We do have a couple of drag performers set up for the family-friendly event. It will be family-friendly drag performance with music. Face painting for the children, yes. We're hoping that we can get some volunteer hours from some high school students that would like to help. I know right now they're looking for volunteer hours as seniors. So just an inclusive event for everyone.
I guess, is there anyone in the public that has any comment on this event?
Yeah, sorry.
About how many people are you expecting that would attend?
With this being our first celebration, we're not quite sure, but we're hoping somewhere between 100 and 200. We did just have a volunteer questionnaire meeting with some supporters, and we had, I would say, probably 20 supporters come, both members of the queer community and members that are allies that wanted to just support us. So we're hoping for a good turnout with our first year, but we're not quite sure. So definitely less than probably the concert series, for sure. Definitely less than the concert series, but, and especially with this being new, I'm trying to get the word out for everybody.
So out-of-towners will also come in.
Well, they would be invited. It would be for anybody who wanted to attend our event. Just like as people from Decatur, we go to Fort Wayne to partake in their celebrations like Three Rivers and Creek Fest, stuff like that.
Okay. And I think it may sound funny, but people will keep their clothes on.
Yeah.
Is that right? Any drag stuff?
There's drag performances, yes.
Oh, there will be drag performances.
Yeah. The drag is not stripping. I mean, like, people keep their clothes on, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And so that will be for the children also.
Yes, so there'll be family-friendly performances with music, family-friendly music, like what you would hear on the radio station. Edited music, no cussing. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a fundraiser in any way?
No, just a nonprofit for inclusivity for everyone here. I know as a member of the queer community myself, I don't spend money in Decatur doing queer activities. If I want to go to a bar that is safe for me, I go to Fort Wayne. If I would like to go to a restaurant that is safe for me, I go to Fort Wayne. So in Decatur, we're talking about art and the sculpture tour and creating a space where Decatur people stay in Decatur. And this is a great way to do that. It shows all of our members, no matter who you love or where you belong, that there is a space here for you.
I would like to add on that exactly what she said. I know as a young folk in the community that I go often out to Fort Wayne to find stuff to do. We are building that here. The Thursday nights are great. It's fantastic. The stuff on the plaza is continued work. And I just think that this will add to bringing more people in and around the businesses and making Decatur a greater place that it's supposed to be. We're just creating a positive change, and that's all we're here for.
I make a motion to approve your event. Seems like you have an order.
I'll second it. I will recuse myself from voting as a member of the committee.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you guys, good luck with your event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone that was here for earlier stuff, don't feel like you have to stay. We're going to get into some tax abatement and fire truck talks that may not be right up everyone's alley, so don't feel like you have to stay.
Feel free to leave.
Well, he's just like his dad, he just walked right out there. Okay, next we have, let's get right into the CF ones. I think we have a handful of tax abatements to review.
So start, metal motion should be the top one there.
Here.
Metal motion first.
How's it going? It's exciting to see you back.
Excited to be here. Eric Sword, Metal in Motion, 827 South 11th Street.
going in to check in on the abatement situation for the year.
How's the new piece of equipment working?
It's working fine. We got it installed and up and going later than what we had been told and expected. We finally got it running on March 15th. The last 3 or 4 weeks have been exciting. Past that point, learning how to use it, like best way I can describe it is the difference between like a bicycle and a rocket ship. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't know it would do, and the smallest little changes, quite a bit difference. It's about roughly 5 to 7 times faster than what we had traditionally been cutting material with.
Would that have been like a plasma cutter?
Yeah, we're using a CNC plasma. And,
Wow.
Smaller, thinner material, 800, 900 inches per minute, so it just is zipping around. And we spend a lot of time like discussing amongst ourselves like what the next button to press, or loading, unloading. If it gets an error, we call and find out what essentially we had done wrong, or trying to work our way through that and fine tune it. But we're already experiencing some growth with some new customers that we hadn't had before, and increased old customers getting more of their product. So trying to turn the faucet on slow, I guess, to make sure that we don't oversell what we are capable of as we're getting it up. But I can see every day we're making progress in what we're able to do with it, and the amount of material we're able to move through it.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thanks.
Good luck. Pushing hard.
Scott.
Keep your hands out of the way. Okay. Rev next. You're next up.
Rev, Rob, you want?
Hey, Rob.
How's it going?
Good, how are you? Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, Rob Kowalczyk. I'm the Director of Operations there at Fleetwood, so we're trying to stay with it, the Fleetwood nomenclature. Everyone tends to know it, we're Rev. But, what would you like to know about the business? What can I provide?
I've been around you guys a little bit lately, the other day and then a couple weeks ago. So you want to just give everybody an update on like where you guys sit right now?
Market-wise,
Yeah.
we've been able to slightly increase over the last, say, 6 months, and the best way that we've been able to characterize the RV industry as a whole is just kind of like skipping off the bottom, not seeing a great uptick, but we don't see it going down anymore. Actually, we've had some fairly decent retails and wholesale. Tariff-wise, which is usually in the back of everyone's mind, the biggest thing that's impacted us is Canada. Then it has more than Mexico and China. That's our tier 2s, but it's been pretty manageable for the most part. The Canada side, we've been able to move those units pretty quickly from those dealers that are not taking to stateside with no issues lately. So we did increase the line gas unit for us, so we did increase sales a little bit. Hiring probably a dozen and a half right now. We open, that's what we have right now for staffing, so we don't look negatively at it right now.
Are you guys able to hire enough employees? I mean, do you have enough applications?
It's a struggle. I mean, we still run into the tendency that they come in, they interview, they obligate, and then half show.
Yeah.
Even just to show up on the first day. So that still continues to be an issue.
Just for general knowledge, do you have an idea of how many Fleetwood employees here?
How many are here?
Yeah. Or just, do we have 1,000 employees currently?
Oh, no, we probably are 600 plus.
600.
600 plus.
782.
Yeah, we're-
782.
Oh, it's on there if I'd look.
Yeah, that was a big slide on my first, I'm not sure how far that is. But it's direct labor, when it comes to direct labor, we're sitting at 370. Building motorhomes.
Okay.
Any other questions for Rob?
Make a motion to approve their application.
Second.
Motion is second.
They had a real property and a personal property, so if we could do that in 2 motions, that'd be great.
will you amend your motion?
Is that what you want us to do them together?
Might be two motions.
Pick which one?
The real property first one.
I guess the first one here is the real property. I make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second on the real property, CF1. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And then the personal property, I would make a motion as well.
I'll second the personal property.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Very much appreciate the relationship with the city and Rev Group.
Yep. All right, thanks, Rob. Next, we have IO Properties. Is that right?
No, they're not. I thought they weren't coming.
I think
IO Properties,
still
yeah,
put it in.
I mistakenly sent out an email with the wrong date for tonight's council meeting, when reminding everybody that these were due. So I got a hold of Riggs, and he sent a letter saying he planned on attending tomorrow night, meeting tonight. So he has other obligations. But he said he'd be happy to come in next meeting to update anybody on their operations if they wanted to.
I think they've been up and running for over a year now, right? Close to 14 months. Sounds like it's going pretty good. No complaints.
According to the SB1, they estimated 103 employees, and they have 139 currently.
Good.
And they estimated salaries at $6.6 million, and they're at $8.9 million.
Perfect.
Sounds like it's going well.
Yeah. Would be nice if they came in the next time just to hear from us.
Yeah. You want me to tell them to come in?
Yeah. They should be able
I'd
to
like to.
toot their own horn.
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay, so we have a motion on the real property.
I'll make a motion to approve the CF1 form on the real property.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I'll make a motion to approve the CF1 on the personal property.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Next one is J.K. Morris or Yilton. I talked with Renee Perot. She said there wouldn't be any representatives able to come tonight either. And just for
Is it just one?
clarification, yeah, the one they have left is the real property. This is the last year for that tax abatement.
Which takes it down to a 10% abatement.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve the CF1 for real estate.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Yeah, Hoover pattern.
Now we got a bunch of them, looks like.
There's 6 different ones with Hoover pattern. We'll start with, they should all be in order. You guys should have them all. The personal property for resolution 2018-14. And there's span multiple years, depending on when they applied. They estimate anywhere between 45 and 58 employees, and they're at 80.
Yeah, this is a great example of a small company that just keeps growing and growing.
When was the newest one? Wasn't it just recently?
This is this year.
Is that in here?
No, no problem. So they'll have 8.
So they have 6 now, and they're gonna have 8.
And are any of theirs, in the last?
No, they still have some time. Find my paper. The most recent one was this year. I think everything else is 2018 or newer. And so their 2028 will be their first two to expire. 2 and 28, 2 and 30, 2 and 33, and then 2 and 35.
So how do you want to,
If we can do all these individually too, there's a resolution number there kind of in the second docket. Just want to reference that with your approval or denial.
Where do you see that resolution?
oh, sure enough.
So this is 2022-12.
Personal you got first? Okay, let's start with that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
This is for real or
Personal.
for 2022-12 for personal property? I have a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Same ordinance for the real property. Same ordinance year.
Resolution.
2022-11.
2022-12?
Yeah.
I'll second.
No.
The motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
I'll make a motion to approve the real property for resolution number 2019-11.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Make a motion to approve the CF1 form for personal property for resolution 2019-11.
I'll second. Oh.
Motion in 2 seconds. All in favor?
One of you guys can jump in.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
All right. I'll make a motion to pass resolution number 2018-14 CF1,
Personal or real?
real estate.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
And I make a motion to pass CF1 for resolution number 2018-14 for personal property.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Thank you.
That's it. Okay. No deer and headlights there. They look like they knew what they were doing this time.
That does bring up when they came in and applied for their last tax abatement, we had talked about doing a scoring system to grade these when they come in to apply. I just didn't want that to be left behind for the next tax abatement, so that way we're prepared for the next one.
We talked with Colton even. I talked to him before the meeting quickly, so, and Ann as well, so, yeah.
I appreciate Colton forwarding information from Vern and other communities that give us some framework to work within and building that, so much appreciated.
And I'll add to that if I can, from a personal property perspective with the state's legislative decisions, that may not be a tool we get to use moving forward anyway. I mean, we'll still develop some sort of process that's more formal scoring system for real property, but with personal property, it may not even be a tool that we get to use moving forward. So.
It's just not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all of them?
That's all.
Yeah. Okay, we have an ordinance amending the fire code.
So,
are you coming up here? Jeff and Tony, are you come on up? Yeah, okay. So, do you want to explain, I mean, within Chapter 91, Section 91.29, that is the section that talks about fire protection systems and their annual reporting requirements. And rather than the fire department collecting, maintaining, keeping up with all of that, we have a third-party vendor. And that third-party vendor in the current code is currently specifically referenced, which makes it difficult to negotiate and change vendors, which is exactly what's happening, right? Okay. So, we discussed potentially amending that to generalize the ordinance to take out any reference to a specific vendor and make that just referencing the fact that it's a vendor that's approved by the fire department, and that all kind of fire protection systems monitoring needs to be done and submitted to you guys electronically. Did I leave anything out? Okay. Okay.
Any questions for us?
You guys got off easy.
I move to introduce ordinance 2025-3 on its first reading by short title only. Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2025-3, an ordinance of the City of Decatur Common Council amending Chapter 91, Section 9129 of the City of Decatur 2015 Code of Ordinances is supplemented to modify use of third-party contractors for fire inspection monitoring. I move to pass ordinance 2025-3 on its first reading. Second.
Motion is second, roll call vote.
Mark Schultz,
Yes.
Matt Dyer,
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Scott Murray,
Yeah.
Abby Wilder.
Yes.
Can we suspend the rules?
Yeah, yes, I may. I move to suspend the rules and pass ordinance 2025-3 on its second and final reading by short title only. Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2025-3, an ordinance of the City of Decatur Common Council amending Chapter 91, Section 91.29 of the City of Decatur 2015 Code of Ordinances is supplemented to modify use of third-party contractors for fire inspection monitoring. I move to adopt ordinance 2025-3 on its final reading. Second.
Motion is second, roll call vote.
Shannon Bauer Schultz,
Yes.
Matt Dyer,
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Scott Murray,
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance passes. Thanks. Okay. We have another ordinance. This one is for allowing payments prior to board approval to avoid late fees. We have this for other boards, and I think this is basically for the Parks Board, and because they meet once a month, there's some claims that come through, and they don't get passed in time, or they don't get, passed in time to avoid late fees, so they're just asking that they do it like some of the other boards and go ahead and approve them, and then send them to the board for approval after that, or go ahead and pay the claims. But this would be, it's applicable to any department, but
Okay.
it was done in large part because Parks kind of gotten stuck in some late fees and fines, I think, but
And the State Board of Accounts do not like when we have late fees. Definitely.
was this already?
So we need a motion.
I make a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-4 on its first reading by short title only. Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2025-4, an ordinance of the City of Decatur Common Council adopting a procedure for payment of certain claims in advance of allowance. I make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-3 for 2024, Ordinance 2025-4 on its first reading. Second.
Motion is second. Roll call vote.
Jenny Bauer Schultz.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Yes. I make a motion to suspend the rules and pass ordinance 2025-4 on its second final reading by short title only. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2025-4, an ordinance of the City of Decatur Common Council adopting a procedure for payment of certain claims in advance of allowance. I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-4 on its final reading. Second.
Motion is second. Roll call vote.
Jenny Bauer Schultz.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Okay, ordinance passes. Lastly, we have discussion, I think this is lastly, yeah, fire truck discussion, or you have more?
No, it's fire truck.
So, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the purchase of a fire truck. Jeff, Chad, whoever wants to come up, Tony, all y'all can if you want. Basically, our ladder truck, our aerial, is 28 years old. To figure out a sensible way to pay for it. This truck's used for businesses, for farms, for mutual aid to other cities. I know we've gone to Bluffton a few times with it. Some residential. Nowhere else in the county has an aerial. So it's a much-needed asset, and I think it's about time for a replacement. So Kevin's been trying to get creative on how to pay for it.
So I sent you all an email laying out basically the different options that Republic had sent to me. And this was a bank or a financier that was recommended by McQueen, the Pierce dealer. I did reach out to First Bank of Bern, got an informal quote on their interest rates that were a point or so higher than Republic's rates. I did reach out to Indiana Bond Bank, had today as the closing date to try to hustle it along, but haven't heard back anything from them. Indiana Bond Bank would likely be a better rate. No guarantees on that. There is a prepayment discount of $83,000 that McQueen offers. If we go to the bond bank, that wouldn't be an option. So there is a little give and take there. You might get a better interest rate, but you don't get the prepayment option.
There are a lot more fees going with them through the bond bank as far as getting the loan closed and what?
I imagine you have to, if you're doing a bond, you have to get bond counsel involved. You have to have your municipal advisor involved. My understanding is that we can just go through this Republic and finance it, just like we're financing a car or anything like that.
So you did check with local banks, and
Yeah.
this one's actually lower.
Yeah, the best interest rate they gave me was 4.67 over 7 years. That's what, if this is the route you want to go, I would recommend the 7-year route. My only reservations with all this was planning on using majority lit funds to fund the down payment and also the debt service over the next 7 years. In 2028, lit public safety is changing. Don't really know what those changes are. Right now it's basically redone in 28. That's 3 years from now. I'm sure they'll change it a couple times between now and then. But from my calculations, the account is healthy enough to afford a good sized down payment and would still be able to sustain a $200,000 to $300,000 payment a year and still be able to maintain a healthy account in there for any other items that pop up over the next 7 years that we may need to use those funds for. So they provided three options. One was putting $200,000 down, one was putting $500,000, one was putting $1 million down. That lit public safety currently has a balance of about $1.8 million. So it has the room to make a substantial down payment. Like I said, I would hate to drain that account and not know what the future holds in a couple years. So I think it's somewhere in between. What the best option would be.
And they have an account, a vehicle account too, right?
Yeah, and so that's my thought, is there's a little over $200,000 in the fire vehicle fund that's there for fire vehicles. That's funded by township contracts. So we get roughly $60,000, $70,000 a year from that. So my thought is, down payment, we use $200,000 of that, and then whatever portion of lit money we decide to put down as a down payment, and then every year we'll budget the debt service out of lit, and then as that fire vehicle fund grows again, we could possibly make the last payment, 2 payments out of that fund instead of lit also.
Are we certain of our revenue stream from the SB House Bill 1?
Not necessarily.
Will we ever be?
We'll know in 27
Yeah.
what's going to happen when it takes effect in 28.
That's a reservation I have. Is
Yeah.
Yes, we need a ladder truck. How do we pay for it?
Well, right, but the way we paid for it was through lit, that everybody started grabbing candy out of lit, and we were just buying stuff, and we were supposed to be saving for a fire truck, so in my opinion,
we have
you'd
1.6.
yeah, like,
2.5.
you gotta use at least $1 million or over that to buy that truck, because that's what that account is for. And then it just got into, I'm not saying the stuff's not needed, but we just buy stuff, we buy police cars, we buy radios, it all comes out of lit, and now here we are at the end, and we're sitting there wanting to figure out how we're gonna pay for a $2 million truck, and we only got $1.8 million.
None of us were here 30 years ago when we bought that truck, but I talked to Jim Hitchcock. It was $660,000, and they paid cash, so they got a discount to buy it for $630,000. Just a huge.
I mean, it's just like everything else, the cost is going up.
Right.
So the only concern that I have is spending $1 million out of that account is there's a $600,000 budget this year out of lit. We likely won't spend all that. We usually don't.
What's the only constant out there? Is it the police station in this building? Are they both out of lit?
City Hall's not out of.
Okay.
Out
The
of
police station.
The police station debt service is $70,000 a year.
And I think it's just equipment. We
It's a lot of
never did
for the
any
most part.
payroll or anything out of there.
No.
When I took over, it was, they took the gear and our radios that we had in the general budget, and they moved it to lit, so to reduce the general budget.
Right.
So, I mean, we have restraints on every 10 years, soft goods have to be replaced. So we try to buy 1 or 2 sets a year out of that. In that thing, we have a catastrophic failure, $50,000 set aside. If a pump breaks down, we can take that and not hit the general budget.
What's the price of a set of turnout gear right now?
$6,000. I think between 4,000 and 6,000, depends on which brand we buy.
And also my thinking with this is, and not to say this opportunity wouldn't come up again in the next 4 years, but if we're talking about getting an aerial within the next 4 years, this is going to be our best option within the next. If we don't jump on this, like I said, another stock option may come up, but if we don't jump on this, we'll likely need to order one, so that way the truck's not, it'll be 32 years old by the time we get a new one. So we either need to jump on this opportunity or start the groundwork for getting one in 4 years.
Or explore the option of a used one.
That is an idea, yeah.
The problem with the used one is, I think Bluffton just went through this, and it took over a year, and
I think they still don't have it.
they still don't have it. How long, and how much are they still going to have in it?
a million.
Over $1 million, I think 1.1 is what they're going to have in there.
Yeah, so they're going to have over $1 million in a used one.
And there's no warranty, there's no nothing with it, it's as is. But they've done an engine motor oil test, a pump test, and an aerial test. The aerial test passed, but the company noticed that the cables that run the ladder in and out were starting to fray. The city that had it told them to fix it, and they were on back order. Since then, they've come in, they were waiting on another ladder test to see if it would pass.
I mean, I appreciate the fire department and fighting for what they need, you know. I get we need an aerial truck. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that total cost.
So if we do put $1 million down on it, what kind of money does that save us?
I think so it's about $150,000. It'll save us over the 7 years. So it ends up being, we pay about $400,000 in financing costs if we do the first option of put $200,000 down. It'll save us $150,000, but it also cuts that payment down by $140,000. So it's, I think, with the uncertainty with lit, I think the best option is to get that payment as low as possible, so that way it doesn't hamper us in the future.
When the lit changes.
Craig? Sorry, go ahead.
I just have a question. What effect does this ladder truck have on our city insurance premium?
The ISO ratings? Yeah, I mean, obviously if we have it out of order, it's going to affect all the businesses, all of their insurance payments.
Bunge's counting on us getting a truck. One of the larger employees in our community, our city.
Yeah.
I've been with these guys when they go look at trucks. This is the truck they want.
Right.
And it's on the right time schedule. It's time to buy the truck.
And every industry in the city needs us to have an aerial truck.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, with the new steel roofs going on, this is going to, we could use this to ventilate. It's going to be a safety issue where they're in the bucket, they're not on an extension ladder. I'll be honest, one of the guys that retired here recently, I've watched him slide off a 2-story roof, hit the ground, jump back up, go on, but not everybody.
And what, I know when you guys sent this area over to Bluffton, there was an issue when it was up in the air, like it wouldn't rotate or something, there was something going on. Didn't something when it was over in Bluffton use?
That was their aerial.
Oh, that was their aerial.
Yeah. They didn't request ours. It was confused in the dispatch, but luckily ours was there because we had to put it back in the cradle under emergency power.
Okay.
Which is 3 people trying to get it put back in the cradle.
Okay.
We've had intermittent problems with ours with retraction and rotation.
Right. That's what I thought. I knew there were some issues.
I don't know that we can wait 4 years, can we?
Well, I'll be honest, if you wait 4 years, the price is going to go up because of the emissions that take effect in 27.
Yeah, this truck falls before the 27 emissions if you wait 27
It's really an immediate need.
So that's about $200,000 savings.
But with this truck, it has 2 to 4 degrees rear steer, so we can actually 6th Street down by the fire station, we couldn't get our current aerial down there. This one we would be able to just turn right in because the rear tires turn on. So on my
What are the ones called that they drive from the back? A tiller, yeah.
Nothing like a tiller.
No.
But maneuverability on this versus what we have versus what Bluffton is getting.
Right. Well, I was just with
amazing.
a group of mayors in Indianapolis last week, and one of them just ordered one of those. And I didn't know what it was.
And also, there's a 2% increase in price in May 12th. On May 12th, there's a 2% increase in price. And that's quarterly. And that goes up 2% a quarter.
Doesn't sound like much until you're
Realizing
that that's an extra $50,000, $50,000 to $60,000.
Would we get anything out of this to sell it?
Right now, I've been putting a gentleman off from, I believe it's Cass County. They had an aerial similar to ours, I'll put it politely, what he told me was somebody got rid of it and their old one, they got one now that's not used very well because it's too short. They were interested in ours. Now that was a month ago, but I can call him tomorrow and say, hey, we're closer, or however you guys decide.
What is the going rate for ours? Kelly, do you
Well, I'll be
have
honest,
that?
800 to 1.1 if you go like what Bluffton did.
Yeah. Ours was,
I don't think we
No. That was only
That was a 16.
Okay.
Very, very, very low miles on everything. That's a needle in the haystack.
It was a 2016 though? This is
2016, yeah.
10 years, 10 years
It
old.
only had 500 pump hours on it, so that's not.
Yeah, but still 10 years old and you starting to get a frame.
It's still over $1 million.
10 years old and the cables were already frayed. Ours is almost 30 and we haven't replaced cables due to cable issues.
Sorry, with the revenues we have coming in this year for public safety lit and what's budgeted, that should be padded by another few $100,000 this year if we didn't act on anything. So I think putting roughly $800,000 out of lit, 200 out of the fire vehicle fund would still leave a pretty hefty balance in that account for in case there was future emergency purchases or large purchases, or if we have to eventually shift some of our funding of police and fire away from the general fund into lit if our property tax levy gets cut. That would be one way to absorb that, is move some of their expenses to lit.
Kevin, what large purchases do you have coming up? I mean, you can think of in the next couple of years.
Manpower.
That's not going to be out of lit.
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, another body. Right.
And they get
Well, vehicles, I guess.
Typically, we rotate 2 cars a year.
2 cars.
It's kind of the normal rotation.
2 cars a year. At what? What's that?
So those are
50.
this year,
Probably. Oh.
just under 100 grand for 2 cars. Right at 100. And that'll be moving forward.
Right.
It's around 50, but that's just the stock car without the equipment. We try to move the equipment over some of the replace.
Right.
Those are the big ones.
But you don't rely solely on lit for that.
Well,
Police vehicles.
it would.
No, we do. Okay.
But that's $100,000. How often do you give them?
That's part of
Two every
the $600,000 budget.
2 every year, did you say, or every 2 years?
So that 100,000 is included in the $600,000 budget.
Okay. And what about the debt service on the police station?
That goes away in 29 also.
What is that, like $200,000 a year?
That's $70,000.
70.
Yeah. Yeah, the major item is the 2 vehicles, equipment for the vehicles. A lot of maintenance, a lot of equipment for fire. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, that fund, if we didn't do anything, would be padded this year by quite a bit. So
What is usually the disbursements around 600,000?
last year we got over 900,000, and it's went up.
And we budget like
Well,
600.
the county raised it, didn't they? Is that why it went up?
It shot up in 23 by quite a bit, and we're on pace to be at 24s or better. So between 900 and a million.
At some point in time, percentage to help cover some of their.
Well, they were taking some salaries out of there.
I mean, I agree we need one, but I'm not really in favor of buying one with putting less than $1 million down on it. I just don't want to get in the habit. I don't want to get in the habit of financing everything for the city and just to keep the payments down. And if we only put $200,000 in there, and then someone sees that there's $1.8 million in there next year, they're going to ask for something else. Well, if there's only $800,000 in there, they can't come ask because there's that. I'm sorry, but I mean, it just is what it is.
I don't believe there's a prepayment penalty, so if we're sitting in that fire, and that brings up another conversation with township fire contracts, but if that fire vehicle fund gets padded sooner than later, that can help, and we can make 2 payments to
guess
get it
that's
off
fine.
the
And
books.
that's something that needs to be visited, I think.
Well, that's my second question. How is that calculated? Is it just off of their budget, or
Right now, it's calculated 6.1% of the fire budget.
who
And
sets that number?
I haven't found that out exactly, that's what it's been since the 60s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But right now, like about a quarter of our runs, fire runs, are to the county. And they pay 6%.
And they're paying
of our budget.
6%. So, that would all go right into vehicle
Somewhere
fund too.
between 6 and 25%. That's what they should be paying.
Would make sense, yes.
Well, we don't
And that
know who
would,
sets that, or
and
do we
that
set
would
that?
go
I think we
directly,
can set that.
that's directly for fire vehicles. I mean, the money that we get from the township contracts goes directly towards
I mean, that's the next
replacement. We need
Well,
to.
the hesitation I have is not just this ladder truck that we need. It was, the chief told us they need another engine.
Yeah.
Now, you can do without a engine, you can't do without a ladder truck, but it is an upcoming expense that we will have.
Well,
Whether that's 2 years or 4 years or 6 years, it's coming.
$60,000 a year in a fire vehicle fund doesn't go very far when you're paying $2.something million for a ladder truck.
And this is all conversation, but I ran the numbers, if we bump that to 8%, it'd be another 20,000. If we bump it to 10%, it would give $100,000 a year, so it'd be another 40,000 on top of that. Split between.
That would still be half of what they should be paying for on the basis of calls.
Because 25% of the calls are going.
Yeah, to the county.
Roughly, yeah.
It's a separate thing, but we definitely need.
Yeah,
Well,
We need to
I
visit
think
it.
it's over a quarter,
Yeah.
but
I guess,
So you,
who's going to bring that up? Like,
Yeah,
I don't want
that's
this to be
not it.
swept under,
Right.
like, how do we go about raising,
Well, it could be an ordinance. Well, it could be for discussion at an upcoming council meeting.
right?
And formally placed on the agenda and have the opportunity to kind of delve into a little bit of that information. But each of the townships, their contracts are annual, so, and if we're looking at doing that and we're entering into the budgeting season,
I usually send their amounts in June.
so,
End of May,
Now-
June is when I send them their amounts due.
Next meeting.
Can we get that on the agenda for the next?
Now, they're not due till the following year, but
yeah, it's next year. I think, yeah.
I'd like to have that on the agenda for
I
next
would
meeting, and then
too.
figure out who sets the rate.
Right.
Sorry, Ann. if
well,
you
is there
can
like
do
a
that.
rate study thing, like with every other thing we do?
I don't know, as long as you can justify the rate. So if there's a significant difference in what the runs are, I think that can be your justification. I might be wrong, there might be more justification than just that. But yeah, as far back as I found, that's what the calculation was.
Yeah, that needs to be revisited if it's been the same since the 60s.
Right.
Do you have hard and fast numbers somewhere documented of where the calls are going?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, like how much expense, I mean, we know a percentage of calls that are out of the city.
Not an exact amount. The state fire marshal office sets a amount that we can charge if we were able to charge. And it's $300 the first hour for an engine and a tanker, and even the aerial. The second hour it goes to $250 for my vehicle, or let's say a pickup truck is $150 first hour, and then $100 every hour after that. They just changed it, so I might have those numbers turned around a little bit, but I know the 300 and the 250 are correct. I'm not positive on the other truck. We don't bill, but that's we see how much money that we could be getting.
I don't even know, though, if that's the right way to look at it. Like, he's doing it by the hour, but we're all in this community together. We all need that fire truck when we need that fire truck. So we should all be paying part of that fire truck, our fair share of that fire truck. The city of Decatur shouldn't be responsible for paying 75% of this fire truck, or let's say 94% of the fire truck, and they're only paying 6% of it and getting 25% of the runs. It's just not.
No, I agree.
Fair
I'm
market.
just looking for maybe like more hard data to present to them, like, hey, this is kind of how much you guys are costing, and we don't charge you, but this is kind of what it costs, and it's like, hey, this is it. This is why we're going to increase it from 6% to whatever.
I can tell you in New Haven, it happened a couple years ago, and the mayor of New Haven said, my residents are no longer subsidizing the county residents. If you want to be on our fire runs, you're going to help pay.
Yeah.
And they made the change.
Yeah.
Greg?
I think the whole idea about Board of Works has already approved the ladder truck. If you take a look at who's actually going to utilize it, it's going to be our neighborhoods in Bluffton possibly, or it's not going to be Geneva. They don't have 3-story buildings down there. You know what I mean? The utilization, so Aaron, when you take over, the map that you need to put together would probably be for the county, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
For Bern, we've got the fire truck, but for those residual plans that we have for the outskirts, if necessary, right? For the ladder truck, the fire trucks are going to go there no matter what.
Right.
That's already in the budget. But this is a new one we're talking about.
And all those aid,
And if we go
mutual aid
to,
trucks.
we go to someplace else, it sounds like after talking to Tony, there's a mutual no pay.
Right. We have mutual aid agreements with
Right.
several other communities, yeah.
Do we need to revisit that in the future, you think?
I don't think there's an issue with Bluffton. I think it's, if we need help, they're going to come right away too.
Okay.
I mean, it's a mutual
Can we
aid.
tie in with Van Wert on that too?
We can be, yes. If it's crossing state lines, there's a fine line, but most of the time, if we call for help, they come.
And the only other thing would be like a grain elevator that's up, what, 100 feet in the air?
Our truck will not reach any, I mean, there's no truck, it's going to cost considerably more to be able to get clear to the top of it.
What's ours go, 75?
100.
100?
Our current one's 102, that's at 70 degrees, but the new one's only 100. So you're talking 2 feet short.
But it's got a gun on it.
Mm-hmm. 2 of them.
So, Tyler, you made the comment that you want to put the most down you can,
That's my opinion.
and that would be like 200,000 out of the truck fund and 800 out of the
At least 8.
lit.
To get it to his last finance number that he
So I had to
sent.
get
Yeah.
terms of $250,000 a year for 7 years.
I'd be in favor of that.
And first payment's not due till next year, so it just allows that fund to build back up a little bit too.
When is the down payment due?
Probably upon signature. Yeah, I can talk with Dave on how that works out.
I have to talk to Dave.
Yeah.
Because how long is the truck out?
We have it-
Years, about this time next year is what he told us.
So you probably don't pay, you pay for it in full, or you just pay a percentage down to hold the truck?
Right.
I think we put the full amount down, so that way it brings our total amount financed down, so it takes the payment down.
You put $1 million down?
Our first payment will come right around the time we're getting it.
Okay.
It would be great if we had a gently used fire truck that we, like a Carvana of fire trucks that you can just get from a vending machine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if the funding is there, and if we can put a little more down to help reduce the overall payment, and if we come into some additional funding and we can make another additional payment without getting penalized, that would...
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, these guys are the experts. They know, they've done the most research on what they need to function and to keep everyone safe. And I do think we need to move forward with it, and then how we figure out the percentage differences and all that other
With the
stuff.
townships, yeah.
That needs to...
And like I said, each budget year you can change where that debt service comes out of. So we can pull a payment out of the fire vehicle fund if that's back up to $250,000 after a few years. Or like I said, let it keep building and then make the final payment or make a double payment in year 6 to get it paid off.
So you're looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to move forward with purchasing the fire truck with the option 3 finance that Kevin had sent out. Should be about $1,083,000 down payment. Finance for 7 years.
It'll be $1 million down payment and an $83,000 discount for financing, and they pay it up front. So we get it up front discount also.
I would second that.
Our down payment's $1 million, right?
Just over. Yeah, but it includes that $83,000 discount.
That's-
Yeah, what's coming out of ours would be $1 million.
Yes, okay.
Okay, motion is second. Any more discussion?
Do we need to specify where it's coming from, the $1 million, or no? In the motion, I don't know.
Below it, or
I think the purpose is just to get it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and there, once, because it'll likely be Aaron talking with Dave and getting this ironed out, so there'll be other discussions at the next meeting as far as with getting signatures and contracts and that kind of stuff.
We won't, like I said, we'll make the down payment, but we won't make any other payments till next year, right?
We won't make a
Till April
financing payment till next year.
Right.
And it may not be the next meeting, it may be a couple before, but this at least, McQueen's had their thumb on this one for a couple months. This, I think, should get it locked in, and then we'll figure out the paperwork as it comes.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Yep, thanks, guys. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, it feels fun. I mean, just like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. Right. And like waiting doesn't make it
Roughly
any better.
2.5, and we want to put down $1 million. I don't have the check. Sounds like we need Bungie to pitch in.
Wait, what do we put down? $1,800,000 from what? 200 from...
Okay. The only other thing I have is tonight's Kevin's last meeting. I just want to tell him thank you for, he's been employee with the city for how many years now?
10, would have been 10 on Monday.
Just think,
Or on Sunday.
the guy that came off the trash truck a few years ago. From the trash truck to utilities director to the clerk treasurer. I'm not kidding you. I mean, it's
the Cinderella story.
to the clerk treasurer. Kevin's been a great employee at every step along the way. I know we're all going to miss him. He does a heck of a job for us. No one thought he would fill Phyllis's shoes, and he's done a great job with it. So I want to say thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
With that, department heads.
Good luck, Kevin.
Thanks.
And the community crossing project, sidewalk and street paving project has begun. It's about almost 4 weeks into it now. Sidewalks are progressing on 3rd Street, 7th Street, Indiana Street, headed towards Marshall. So things are going fairly well. We worked through some hiccups here or there. Finish on the concrete seems to be really good, so
Good.
keep an eye on them. I go from there.
I think they're doing a good job. What I've driven by, they're keeping it nicely contained, and that's a...
Yeah, they do things a little different than the rest, which is it's an adjustment to us and the community.
Yeah.
They sometimes create quite a mess and have to clean it up.
Right.
Seems well...
They don't load it right away.
They don't load it right away. Instead of renting a truck for a whole day, they don't rent it for a couple hours.
Right.
So they're throwing all the concrete out the street, which is kind of a nuisance, but limiting on how much they can take out per day.
Yeah.
So they don't have to struggle for stone all the way down the street, so.
Right.
It's a nuisance, but that's how you save money on the project, was just headaches along the way.
Yep.
And then, like you said, it's just different.
Right.
So
Well, thanks for keeping up on them, Jeremy.
We meet about 3 or 4 times a day, so. The roundabout project is still on tap to start June 2nd. So there will be some meetings coming up, coordination meetings here at the end of the month. Want to close it on the 2nd and hopefully reopen it by Labor Day weekend. Would be the goal. It's probably maybe a little bit longer than that depending on the weather, but it takes our days.
Okay. Good. Kevin G.
Well, good luck, Kevin. I no longer have to worry when I'm going to have to worry when I get Kevin. I don't have anything. Andy's doing bicycle safety. Now, what's going on?
Good. Okay. Jeff.
Good luck, Kevin. Hold on, Aaron. A while back we talked about Huntington University is remaking our Survival Lighthouse video. We've got the final product. Hopefully, I'll be able to show it to you. I'll send it out to all of you so you can see it. And yeah, Dan, you are in it a couple of times.
Did I get my questions right?
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay. All right.
And again, thank you for your decision tonight.
Kurt.
Best of luck, Kevin.
Mike.
And just a friendly reminder, it's that time of year again, you need to mow your yard. Code enforcement's out in full bore. I've signed across 20-25 abatement orders in the last 2 days. So,
Just remember, when you're mowing your yard, you do it for your neighbor too.
yep.
Chad. Anything?
Thanks to Kevin. I know he worked hard on what went on tonight in the last year. Appreciate you.
Mike. Mr. Zimmerman, anything?
Been awesome working with you. We're gonna miss you.
Mike.
Goodbye. Along with the sidewalks and the asphalt, we are done with 7th Street right now. We're going to keep working to the east. We replaced a little bit over 300 feet of pipe. We set 2 structures. Everything's new into the alley and out to ASM. We went farther on.
Good.
Was both plug away and getting ahead of them.
Tony, you got anything? You're not a lot. Council, anything?
I wasn't real happy when I heard Kevin was moving on, but I understand it, and you have done a very good job. You know, it takes the right people to step up to some of these positions, and the process then goes to the 3 capable people applied, and the Republican Precinct Committee people picked a very great replacement, we think, and welcome. Glad you're here and look forward to working with you.
Here, here.
I'll give a quick update on the flag. So city flag, we have 3 finalists that are out for a vote right now. Thanks to the media even for sharing that. We have until May 15th to put your vote in, and we'll keep going from there. So
I heard there's quite a few votes already.
yes, I think Jamie had told me 500 online. I'm not sure. You can vote in person at City Hall or at the library as well.
Awesome. Exciting.
Anything else from council? Anything from the public? There's still a few here. Thanks for staying with us through all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Fire trucks. Make a motion to pay the claims.
Second.
Motion and second to pay the claims. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, anything you want to say first?
Peace out.
You put that in the notes.
Thanks, everybody. It's been fun 10 years.
Peace out.
I'll do a great job.
Okay. Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.